Hello again, viewers. Welcome back. Today I'd like to talk to you about this camera, the Nikon D3100. It was released in 2010, September. So it's an older camera, but this camera does, it shoots like 14.2 megapixels. It's got the DX sensor, which is equivalent to the Canon APS-C type sensor. This one has a 1.5 crop factor, which means if you're using full frame lenses on this camera, like what I've got on here at the moment, I'll explain that in a moment. Your say a 50 millimeter lens would be equivalent to a 75 millimeter lens, so you have to keep that in mind when you're using it. But the beautiful thing is there's a lot of these old lenses available for this camera at really good prices. Like here's an example of one of the ones that I picked up. I got this 200 millimeter, so that would be a 300 millimeter equivalent telephoto lens, built like a tank, you know, all metal, beautiful glass. I got that for $50 on eBay, you know. And of course you can use the kit lens, which is actually a pretty decent lens on its own. It's got autofocus, it's got image stabilization built into it, so you can pick the camera and this lens up for about, I don't know, $200, sometimes even less. You might get one for $150 with a lens. I mean, and it's a really good camera for that price. On mine, I've added the extended battery grip on there, so it really gives you a lot of battery life. I can shoot for a long time with this. Let's see, what else was I going to tell you about this camera? It does shoot video. It does, of course, it does not do 4K. I mean, it's a 2010 camera. But it will do 1080p at 24 frames per second, so it gives you quite cinematic looking footage. That's what I leave this one on most of the time. It also does 720p at 30, 25, or 24 frames per second. But I usually just leave it at 24 frames per second, 1080p. Does a great job at that, and is limited to 10 minutes of video. But honestly, how many of us are shooting more than 10 minutes shots at a time, you know? So yeah, for the price, I think it's a really good starter camera if you're looking at breaking out of your cell phone and getting into something with interchangeable lenses like this. One thing I would like to point out, there's a lot of misinformation on the internet about this camera. The HDMI port here, I was researching it when I first got it, and a lot of the forums say that you cannot use an external monitor with this camera while you're in live view. And that's not true. What I did find, it makes a big difference on which screen you're using. For example, every RCA television that I plug this into works flawlessly. Some of the cheaper brands of TVs did not work as a monitor. This here, the Neewer camera monitor, video monitor, which are available on Amazon, eBay, anywhere. And they come under a bunch of different names, but I like Neewer products. It works flawlessly. What happens is you no longer can see your live view on this screen. It is now transmitted on your larger monitor, and then all of your side controls work as usual, which is fine because it doesn't have a touch screen anyways. You wouldn't expect that for a $200 camera with a lens, you know. So right now, the kit lens that comes with it, that one that I showed you with the auto stabilization right there, that's an 18 to 55, so it gives you a pretty good range. You can do a lot of good work with this, and right now we'll take a look at some of the photographs that I've taken with this particular camera, and you can let me know what you think. So photographs right now. can clearly see this camera takes amazing images. All the images that you saw in just now, I took with this particular lens, which is about a 1975 AI series lens. So you want to look for the pre-AI, the AI, and the AIS series lenses will all work on this camera, and that is not the case with all Nikon cameras, so be very clear of that. Some Nikon cameras have a little tab here that can be damaged if you use some of the really early lenses, but this one you can use all of them. They're dirt cheap on the internet. So yeah, I hope that's helpful to you. We'll keep this video short today. If you want to see some of the other gear I use for my productions, check there and there, and maybe up there on those links, and click on them right now, and we'll see you back next time. Thanks for watching.